Hey guys, it's your guy Bo here, and today we are here with a book review that has been a very long time in the making, and that is volumes 2 and 3 of Supernatural Encounters. Now, you guys might remember that I read volume 1 of Supernatural Encounters, and I made a book review on it, and I said it was going to be a while before I read volume 2, and 1 year later, here I am. Yeah, I finished these a couple weeks ago, I'd say. But I think I'd finished them just over a year after I made the book review for volume 1. How crazy is that? It's come full circle. Now, I just want to say that, well, first of all, volume 2 is one of the densest things I have ever read. I'm gonna admit that for a very long time, I was planning on getting 1/6 of the way through, because in the beginning it was not catching my interest. I was getting bored. I was like, ugh, things were, it was just not getting interesting for me. And I was like, okay, once I get 1/6 of the way done, I am going to stop and put this on the back burner. And I had even prepared myself for it by getting a second bookmark just for this. But before I got there, things really started to pick up. And they picked up so much, I just could not stop reading. I read so many amazing things. Like I said, I may have said this in my volume 1 review, but Supernatural Encounters covers from the beginning of time to post Return of the Jedi, so that's millions of years of history. But this book, there were things that were explained to me that I took as canon. But here's the thing. I did not accept all of what was in here as canon, because you're not supposed to. Joe Bongiorno made Supernatural Encounters with the intention of you not taking everything as canon. Like, you don't have to consider everything canon. There's quite a few things in here I did not consider to be canon, but most of it I did. And it's gonna sound like a strange analogy, but the knowledge that I got from these pages, I could literally feel my Star Wars knowledge, database increasing. I could feel it growing. It's like it was filling up like a balloon with balloon with air or helium. That's how it felt. But there were some things that were in here that were explained where it made sense. Like the entity, it's called now I think that's how you pronounce the name, but I say Magal because it's more sinister. But it appears in Red Harvest as the sickness for the Blackwing virus, and I was like, oh my gosh, that makes so much sense, because Magal is very sadistic, malevolent, sinister, manipulative. It speaks to its victims and it reanimates their corpses after it kills them, and it takes what it wants and you can't stop it. And the sickness in Red Harvest was sentient. It would speak to its victims. Like, it said they would have absolutely no choice in their matter of transformation into the undead. And I was like, this makes so much sense, because the undead in Red Harvest were expelling the contents of whatever they'd eaten, in a very similar to how Magal's infected host will spew it from their bodies onto the body of a new host. And I was like, it makes so much sense now. And I read how Abeloth came to meet the ones, how she served them, how she became their mother, that she married the father, and they lived a really happy life. But my friend, who I told you about in Volume 1's review, who does the live streams on these, she helped make that seem better, because she helped contribute with this book, and she knows the author personally. She told him that Abeloth fought the ones more before they fled their home planet and left her stranded there. And like a lot of this I could see in my head. It was like kind of almost like a movie of sorts. As some of this I could see happening. But Supernatural Encounters establishes things that already exist, like the entity Waru from the Crystal Star. He is a clone / offspring of Uradril. I think that's how you say his name, one of Talatni's kids. And think of it like this. You can think of him as the son of Uradril, but he's really a clone. Think of it like how Boba Fett and Jango Fett, they were father and son, but really Boba was just an unaltered clone of Jango. That's how it is. But yeah. And I caught a lot of references in this, like to other cultures, and after I finished it, I was like, because it was a lot. And volume 3, it's mainly just the acknowledgments, the end notes, things like that. But there are appendices, like it has an atlas. I did not read this, but appendices 1A through C, it has A, B, C, D. That's how they're labeled. I read them, and it was a very satisfying way of wrapping up Supernatural Encounters, because it made it wrap up in a way that all made sense, that was fitting. And it even has artwork from the book. I represent certain scenes. Now, I'm pretty sure that this version of Supernatural Encounters doesn't have all the artwork that like the previous version did. And as you can see, the illustrations are not in color. But hang on one second. Aha! This illustration is the cover of Volume 2. This illustration is the cover of Volume 3. And where is it? Where is it? Oh, I think it's this one. This one is the cover of Volume 1, like this part right here. Yeah, it all fits, but my only criticism is that I wish the illustrations were in color, because to me, everything's better. Illustrations are better when they're color. But yeah, there's so many things like the Sith purebloods worshiping the exiles. You actually hear a lot about the first 12 Sith in detail in Volume 2, because in the lore that's outside Supernatural Encounters, we only know about 8 or 9 names. We know most of them. 8 names out of the 12 of the exiles. But we find out their names in this book, and one of them turned out to be a character who already existed in the lore. But I did not know this character before. I did not expect to see Bo Vanda. The character's name is Bo. That's my name. Became Darth Simi, and Darth Simi is a character in the lore. And now I will say there are some characters like Thargorgrat, one of Talatni's offspring, that is completely that's an OC for Supernatural Encounters. And yeah, I'm pretty sure that some of them are like some of the Sith Lords are OCs, but Junta Pal, Zozan, Karnas Mur, Tula Cord, Remulus Drepa, Swords of Sin, Brutica. and Rand and Rel, those were already established. Well, no, not Rand and Rel, Darth Andadu. Darth Andadu was one of the 12. Yeah, I meant to say. So the ones that were OCs are Rand and Rel, Bovanda. Well, that's not really an OC, but she was just an well, the other two OCs are Dechira and Mota Ontur, who are brothers. Darth Simi, like that name is not original, because Darth Simi was already an actual Star Wars character, but the name Bovanda, that was original. And I will say that I found this strange. I was looking up Darth Judicar just to see if like there was anything on that particular name, but Darth Judicar, not Darth Judiciar, but Darth Judicar is a fan-made character. Like, I typed up that name on Google and I'm finding a fanon page, not a fandom page with actual characters in the universe, but a fanon page. That's completely fan-made stuff. So I thought, what do you know? One of the names in here has a fanon page, but I don't think Joe Bongiorno created that based off of a fan thing. I think it's just a coincidence, but it's a really ironic coincidence. But I will say, I wish that someone who was mentioned in Supernatural Encounters that is not is Faye from... Well, she only makes one appearance in literature. She appears in one comic that takes place at the beginning of the Clone Wars. She was one of the oldest Jedi Masters to ever live aside from Yoda and Tressa, and she was killed by Ventress. But she was the purest Jedi Master to ever live. I wish she was in here, but she's not. And there are some things, like Tulak Hord. It established that he was a Jedi like the rest of them, but in the lore that we have, that's not Supernatural Encounters, it's established that he joined them after the 100-Year Darkness had started. And that's what I think is canon, but that's the thing. You're not supposed to take everything as canon. You're supposed to reject some of these things. But overall, Supernatural Encounters is... I gotta say, it's probably the crown jewel of Star Wars that I've read. Because like I said, Supernatural Encounters is the holy text of Star Wars. It is the Star Wars Bible. Like, you can't read this and understand it without being able to confidently call yourself an expert on Star Wars. But like I said, even experts don't know everything. And that's what the live streams are for. To help analyze and decode everything, because like I said, Supernatural Encounters is like a foreign language where you can understand some things but not all of them. Like you can like in a foreign language you can understand some words but you don't know other words. That's what this is. You understand some lore but you don't understand other lore, and those live streams are like the translators for that foreign language. But yeah, this is the Star Wars Bible, the holy text. It's the final boss of Star Wars literature. Unfortunately, the printed copies of this run that I have are no longer, they're out of print. But the PDF version is always available at StarWarsTimeline.net. So you can check that out if you want to. It'll always be there. But I'm just glad that I have my copies, and I'm glad I ordered them when I did. But yeah, I will say, I don't regret waiting a year to read volumes 2 and 3. But I don't want to say it was worth the wait, because I don't think that applies, but I guess you could say it was worth waiting all this time, but I guess it was, actually I guess you could say it was worth going back to. I guess that's what we'll go with. But yeah, that's all I have for today's video. I'm not going to really do my traditional intro because I've got 2 videos coming out tonight. So yeah, I'll be posting 2, so be sure to stay tuned for the other one because I'm really excited for it. But yeah, I'll see you guys in that next video, and I cannot wait to show you what it is. Bye.